Okay, I'm going to try to run this from outdoors. I don't know if I'll be able to keep a connection or not. The Wi-Fi sometimes will work out here, sometimes won't. If I'm operating off the phone, then that's cool, but I thought I'd try to use the computer today. A little bit noisy, lots of stuff going on. They are building houses in what was the cornfield in back of us, so it seems like there's a whole bunch of tractors and trucks and trailers and guys that are out there working this morning. I wanted to come on just really briefly today. It is Friday. I talk about financial tidbits on Friday. And one thing that's really been coming to my mind recently is interest rates. Interest rates are at an all-time low as far as mortgages go. And I was looking up some numbers this morning. So again, I like to bring in factual stuff, not just talk off the cuff. So I was looking up a 30-year mortgage this morning, and just for a $100,000 loan. Back in 1981, interest rates were at their highest, and it was 18.63, over 18%. That was the average mortgage interest rate back in 1981. So if I did take out a $100,000 loan and I had it out for the entire lifetime of that loan, I did keep it out for that 30 years, then the average mortgage payment, $1,559 a month. But over the life of this loan, I would have paid $16,820,000 for that $100,000 loan. And I showed the numbers to my husband this morning. He said, "That's not right." So he looked at the numbers himself. Yeah, that is right. When you're talking about 18% annual interest, it adds up pretty quickly. Good morning, Rob. Really good to see you. Now, we went from that highest of over 18 in 1981 to what had been the lowest, which was in November of 2012. I evidently have some wasps out here this morning as well. Went to the lowest, which was in November of 2012, and that was 3.31. So contrasting the difference, and this is important because we talk about compounding. We've talked about that before, how your credit card debt can increase exponentially because of interest. Also, your savings and your investments can increase because of compounding. So if I instead of taking it out when it was super high back in the 80s, I took out that $100,000 loan when it was low at 3.31 in November of 2012, then the average mortgage payment, instead of being $1,500 a month, is only $438 a month. And over that 30-year lifetime, instead of paying $16 million for my $100,000 loan, then I would have paid $265,000. That's a big difference. Okay, why has this been really something I'm thinking about recently? Because now mortgage interest rates are at an all-time low. As of this morning, it was 2.875. That was, quote, average. It was for the $100,000 loan, and it was for somebody that has an excellent credit rating. So there's a lot of variables that can feed into that, but there are many people who are talking about refinancing their home mortgages right now because those interest rates are so low. So if I'm looking at an APR of 2.996, which is average right now, then for that $100,000 loan over a 30-year period of time, I would have paid, and I'm going to say only, right? It's still a lot more than 100,000, but I would have paid only $242,726. So this is a great and wonderful thing, right? The interest rate's going down on long-term debt. That's fantastic, but what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that there is a correlation between the interest rate for debt and the interest rate for my savings as well. So I'm in a lot of different financial groups, of course. This is something I like, so it's something that I follow. And there have been a lot of people complaining over the last few weeks that their high yield savings interest rates are being cut because these were around 3% as well. And right now, the average is right about 1, depending on the online bank that you look at. One that I have is 1.2, which is awesome because the FDIC said the average rate of interest for savings right now is 0.06. So people are complaining that interest rates for their savings are down. Yeah, that's because interest rates are down. I cannot have low interest on debt and expect to have high interest on savings. It doesn't work like that. that's, having your cake and eating it too, right? It works both ways. So for the people that are complaining, I'm not saying it's you, I'm saying in these groups where I am, the people that are complaining about how low their interest rates are and how they're not making anything in the bank, right? You're not paying anything in interest either. They work in correlation. So if we're comparing things, because I told you about that 30-year mortgage, right, with the high of 16 million and the low today of 242,000 on a 100-year 30 on a 100,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Well, what about if I'm putting money in my savings account? What if I put $100,000 in my savings account and it's making 0.06? Then over a 30-year period, that 100,000 would only have grown to 101,815. So I'm not saying, I don't judge anything. I don't weigh in on anything. I'm not saying it's bad that interest rates are down for mortgages. I'm saying that there's also a negative impact of that, which is the amount of money that we're saving in the bank can be much lower too. And interesting thing, credit card interest rates don't seem to be functioning in the same way that mortgage interest and savings interest and all of that stuff is. So when I look up credit card interest, they consider it to be a low interest card if it has an interest rate that is below 14%. 14%. So, and rates, again, I looked at them just this morning. This is accurate current information. Rates were averaging between 14 and 23%. These are unsecured cards, which means you haven't paid something in. But if I had a 14% credit card with $100,000 of debt that I was carrying on that credit card, and I didn't pay that off for the period of 30 years, just so all comparisons are equal, then I would have paid $5,095,015. We don't look at this. We don't think about this. I really don't think that we do. I mean, if I'm just buying something, it doesn't have to be a $100,000 purchase. It could be a $100 purchase. If I'm buying something and it costs $100, but I'm racking up interest charges on that $100, then over time, it can end up costing me a whole lot more than $100. I just want you to think about it. That's all. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. If you follow the page at all, you saw that yesterday I had packers in my house. The movers are here today, so the truck is out front. They're actually loading it up. But I had a couple of great conversations with the people that were helping to pack up my stuff over the last couple of days. Started with one of the guys who just came up, kind of timid and didn't want to bother me, but asked if he could talk to me about his retirement plans. And he's 61 years old. Is planning to retire from his job next year when he's 62. He's been in the business for a very long time. His dad did this a long time before that, and he just wants to now be able to, in his words, enjoy his life. He wants to go golfing a little bit more often. So we had this big plan of drawing a pension. He gets a pension from the moving company. And, we talked about what would happen if he drew his Social Security when he's 62 versus waiting until he's 67 or waiting until he's 70 years old. And we looked at his numbers, and we looked at the fact that if he does draw his pension, because he wanted to know, would it be, would he be taxed at 50%? And so we talked about his regular tax rate, income taxes, but the fact that he would no longer pay the Social Security tax, and the fact that he would no longer pay the Medicare tax, and because it is a union pension, the fact that he would no longer pay his union dues when he retired. And when we actually looked at the numbers, his retirement is going to be damn close to what he's making right now working. And he's putting in a lot of hours, and he's working really hard. So we talked about the money, and this is going to work out for him. But, and you've heard me say this before too, and I really, really, really think that we need to look at not only the money, that's important, but quality of life. Quality of life has to matter too. It cannot always be about the dollars and cents. We have to look at where we're going to be happy, what we want to do, and how we're going to live out our one life. That matters. And Rob, I know you're on the call, and I know, you understand that, and one of the reasons why you're trying to change the situation and maybe move to a different place and that kind of stuff, because quality of life is really important, right? Really important. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. Again, pretty quick, pretty short, lots of stuff going on. I really would love to know if there are specific things that you have questions about, concerns about, you want to know about. I'd love to know what those are. I am right now, as a matter of fact, putting together a new class. I'm going to be doing this for a large group of employees who are looking at being furloughed from their jobs. I mean, they're going to be potentially losing their jobs, and I want to help them get onto a budget that they can live with, even as they're going through this very turbulent time of their lives. So I'm putting that together today amongst all of the boxes and the packing and everything. If you have tidbits or thoughts, or you've been through that and you said, yeah, I lost my job and that was really rough, but here's how I made it through that, let me know. Just send me an IM and let me know what worked for you so that maybe I can incorporate some of that stuff into the presentation that I'm putting together for these folks. That would be really helpful. I'm going to hop off here. It is Friday, if that matters to you. For me, the days just seem to roll one into the other without any kind of difference. So it could be Monday for all I know. But actually, according to the computer, it's Friday. So happy Friday. I hope that you have a great weekend. I hope that you take care of yourself. I plan to be on here Monday. I don't know what that's going to look like and or if I'm actually going to be able to do it, because we're hopping in the truck on Sunday morning and we'll be driving. So depending on where we are and what's going on, I may or may not be here on Monday, but I'll check in anyway, let you know what's going on. You do the same. Take care, and bye for now.